Welcome, everyone, to the Bosskey Podcast. We're making our grand return after a long hiatus. This is episode 35. I am your co-host, McQuack306, joined as always by the second-rate duelist,
What?
Jeffy G.
How dare you? Second rate? No, don't you dare. Don't you dare say second rate duelist right now. Don't make me banish you to the Shadow Realm right now. I'm gonna take you, the loser, will get banished.
What's up,
Anyways,
Jesse?
This is Jesse, not second rate duelist, the number one duelist in all of Duel Monsters. Yes, this is Jesse, Jeffy G here. Big McQuack, how you doing?
Man, I'm good. I'm so refreshed after just
Welcome
coming back.
man.
Yeah, finally coming back from the honeymoon, going into northern parts of the United States of America, going to Seattle, Washington, Oregon, all those good parts, and enjoying the good week with my wife, and we had an amazing time over there.
Oh man, I saw the photo, all the delicious food pics. Man, it looked really good. It was like a really good trip.
Some ramen and some, what was it, clam chowder and lobster roll, and even some pho. I finally tried some oxtail pho for the first time. I've tried pho, but not oxtail, and man,
how did that taste?
It is so good. Like, I think it's my favorite pho to order. I just need to find a spot that actually sells it, because I have another place that I go to that doesn't have oxtail. So
I'm living in the OC now, man. So let me find out. There's a lot of pho spots around here. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
But a lot of good gaming shops too. That we stopped by. We stopped by like this place, Super Smash Bros or something, Super Mario Bros store.
All right.
That was close to SeaTac, between Seattle and Tacoma. For those not aware of the northern parts,
right? That'd be me, man. I've never been there. So
I'm talking like a damn local.
You're telling me, man. I don't know. I don't know nothing about that.
We visited Pink Gorilla. We checked out two other spots. I think they have 3 stores in total, if I'm not mistaken. But we tried out 2.
Nice.
2 stores, and really cool spots, really cool games that they have. My wife was able to find GTA 3 for $5, as well as this game called Whacked, both for the original Xbox. She found Whacked for $20, which is really cheap compared to what we've seen around California, where it's like $45-$50. So $20 for a complete copy and everything looked clean. She was like, "Yeah, I have to get this. This is a super good deal." And then plus Grand Theft Auto 3 for Xbox for $5. Really good, really good deal. And so she was like, now I have the whole set, the San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3, all for the Xbox original.
There you go. And the next, what was I going to say? A Grand Theft Auto, that's not all glitched out and looks weird. Unlike the definitive edition.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that. It's actually the original one. So we're excited to find those good stuff. But how you been, man? It's been a week and a half since we've seen each other.
Oh my goodness, I have just been holding the fort down here at home. Just a lot of work. I'm about to actually go on my own little vacay. So you're done, sir. Now it's my turn to take some time off. I'm gonna be taking some time off. I'm gonna be heading to San Diego, and then I'm gonna be heading to Cancun the following week. But then I hear it's going to be raining quite a bit, so I'm like, okay, can't believe it. But all right, whatever, it's fine. We're going to make the best of it, regardless. So I'm going to be doing my own little trip, but no, just a lot of working, just a lot of studying, and some gaming thrown in between there as best as I can, because it's just part of my life, and I just do it to relax. Like when I just get home or after I finish everything that I've done, my cup of coffee or my drink, like my soda or something, and Diet Cola or water, whatever, and just sit in front of a game just to relax. It's just my end all be all. It's just my escape. It's so good. It's amazing.
What have you been
Just
playing?
say. So I actually got back into. I just jumped back into the. I'm going actually back and forth between PC and the Xbox because the Xbox Game Pass lets you do that.
Yeah.
So like you can start a game on PC and then you can continue it on the Xbox if you want. So when I figured that out, of course, I probably mentioned it before, but I'm just more amazed by it still. So like now I actually jump back into Quake and I just want to finish all the expansions already. And I realized that as much as I love the controller, my Elite Series 2 controller, um, I use it for all the other games. When I play Tunic still with that game, which I'm gonna complete. But I jumped back into Quake, and uh, it's just gonna end up realizing that I'm just too used to PC keyboard and mouse for shooters. I can't, man. It's just the best way to play it. Mouse aim. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's the best way to aim and the best way to play first person shooters. So guess what my
Subjective.
future. What? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'm just gonna say that anytime it's a first person shooter, we'll definitely try it on the PC first. If it's everything else, I'll get it on the Xbox. I actually bought, I was playing again a game I haven't played in a while. I bought Zone of the Enders 2 because it was part of the spring sale
Oh
for
yeah, it was like
Xbox.
$5.
Yeah, it was cheaper, dude. Like Zone of the Enders 2. And when
Yeah.
I played it again, it was just mech action all over again. And the anime was just coming all over again. The nostalgia gigantic flow was coming at me. Like it was so beautiful. Um, and then I also on the PlayStation Store, since there was also a spring sale on that one, I ended up buying the Devil May Cry 1 through 3 again
Oh nice.
because it was on sale. And I also got the upgrade to Sonic Mania Plus, so I got to play as Mighty the Armadillo and the squirrel, but I forgot his name unfortunately, so my bad. So uh, the flying squirrel. But Sonic Mania is just another one. So I've just been dabbling between all three of those. Am I going to complete something? I don't know because I have the gamer dilemma that keeps going, and I'm going to throw one more in there. I actually played a little tiny sample of the newest Kirby game, the newest
Oh,
Kirby and the
okay.
Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Wow, they integrated Kirby really good in 3D.
Oh
And
nice.
I think like a lot of other people are saying, what took so long to do this? Like this is like okay, he had the crystal shard, but that's not a 3D game. It's a side scroller. The
Yeah.
the one the N64 one.
N64.
Yeah, that was 3D polygons, but it was a 2D game. But no, 3D Kirby works. It works. And I tried it again. I tried it at GameStop. So um am I gonna add it to the collection? Yeah. Plus
Oh.
one physical. Plus one physical. I'm gonna add Kirby on there, but gotta be careful on finances, of course. Remember, recently moved out, so we're more careful with finances now. But that is my little mix, smash, and jumble of games, and I'm hearing video game music every single day, and I have video games basically every single moment of my life, every second of it, for fact. So. Um, Other than that, what I know you've been traveling a lot, but what have you been playing during your travels, if you have, or did you just play just recently?
So a little bit of everything. So while I had downtime, in the hotel or something like that, or I sometimes would wake up earlier, so I'd take a good hour, 30 minutes or to an hour to play while the lady would get ready to wherever we were gonna go. I was playing Shin Megami Tensei 5 on the Switch.
Okay,
J-
the box was on there for a while. Yeah.
yeah, JRPG. It's my first Shin Megami game that's not Persona, and I'm loving it. It's really cool. It, it's kind of like a Pokemon game where it has weakness, and you have to, like, I guess, have demons join you, and each
Hmm.
demon has like their own abilities and stuff like that. But this predates Pokemon, so if anything, Pokemon took inspiration from these games.
Okay.
But really liking it. It's been my go-to game to play when, my wife wants to watch Total Divas, or I'm at work and it's lunchtime, so I'll play that after eating my food. So I really like it. It's one of those a companion game where I can just battle and grind and level up, and I don't have to look at the story. And then when I do have to focus, that's when I'll focus on it. But it's a really good game. And
Okay.
then when I got back on Friday, and Saturday I was looking through my stuff, and I was like, I just want to complete a game. And
All right.
I remember looking through and hearing that the Order 1886 was a good game, or at least decent game, but all the complaints have always been about the how long it is, which is not very long. I always saw reports like, "Oh, it's like 4 hours long." It's only 4 hours long, and they sold it for $60, and that's why people were kind of upset about it.
Oh,
I played it. It took me 10 hours to complete. It wasn't 4 hours.
10 hours.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Where are people getting these 4 hours from?
Exactly. And so when I did
What?
some research, and apparently it's not a 4 hour game. It's I think the fastest completion was 7.5, if I'm not mistaken. Which is, I got these stats on average from How Long to Beat, the website. I don't know if you've checked that out before, but basically
No, I
gets
haven't.
if you check out How Long to Beat, you can type in a game, and it'll give you an average of, oh, here's the main story, here's a completion, and stuff like that. And I looked it up, and it had like 7 or 7.5 hours. I'm like, what happened to this narrative that this game was 4 hours, and I couldn't find
Yeah,
out
yeah.
where. But I finished it, and in one day, 10 hours, and I loved it, man. It was actually a good
Ooh.
game. It caught me off guard, and I think this game would have done better if it wasn't for that fake story of it's a 4 hour game, because it's actually about 8 hours. I mean, it took me 10 hours. I did some looking around in the environment and stuff like that, but 10 hours was decent. So I really highly recommend that game. It was a good story. It doesn't have anything else but a single player mode, but I really liked it. I love Knights of the Round. I love King Arthur and Merlin and stuff like that. And this game was basically like a version of that. It was like an alternative storytelling of King Arthur and his knights, which was really cool.
Mhm.
Just has a pretty sick cliffhanger,
Oh,
which sucks because there might not be a sequel, or at least
oh,
with this developer, because the developer Ready at Dawn got bought out by Facebook. Um,
oh. Bye
so
bye.
I don't know what's going to happen with this IP. I highly doubt that PlayStation will make a sequel, but what I
No,
played, it was really cool.
it's gonna be part of the. It's gonna be part of the metaverse.
I really like this, so I think it definitely deserves a playthrough. It's not 4 hours; it's 10, and that's the only reason why I started it. Was like, oh, it's a 4 hour game. Okay, I have it. I might as
Mhm.
well. It'll feel good to finish the game. I love seeing the credits roll. On a game, you
Nice.
feel so accomplished. But
That's true.
after that, I actually started a game that I always wanted to get into,
Which one?
and I never could. And it's something that combines two of like some of my favorite stuff in the world.
Okay.
And it's a combination of Final Fantasy and Disney.
Oh man, are you for real? You talking about Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, so I started Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh.
I started
Uh
and
huh. One. Oh, you're going back.
yeah,
You're going
I,
back.
I figured let's go from the beginning. I was going to go
Yeah.
chronological order, but I was like, let me play through as they came out so that I can see the progress of gameplay.
Hey.
Um,
Okay.
I'm actually enjoying it this time. I don't know what it is. It's happened before where I don't like a game, and I don't like a game again, and then like the third time it's like it clicks.
Oh, it's actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, It's
Okay.
actually pretty cool, and it's always been it's always something like okay. So real quick story. I had Kingdom Hearts 2 when I was younger, maybe like a year after it came out. I was able to get it pre-owned at GameStop, and I was well into it. I was probably like I want to say 20 hours in, and I got to. Have you played them? I don't know if you
Yeah,
played.
I played 1 and 2.
Okay, so
I
I
didn't
had
didn't go I didn't go further than that.
I had just finished the Tron level in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell if that's far or not, but um, and the disc was scratched, and I couldn't continue,
Oh,
and so I
dang.
was just
Death.
devastated,
It was-
and I just did not touch the series ever again because I just could not. I was like, I put so much time into it, and I it doesn't even read my game anymore, and I just gave up. It was one of
oh
those like
no.
I can't,
You
and
you uh
so I just didn't really touch it ever again. And then fast forward like 15 years later,
mm,
Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, and I was like, let me try this one out. I actually
mm,
finished Kingdom Hearts 3,
mm,
and I don't know what the hell was going on, but I just know that I liked the cutscenes and the gameplay. So
okay.
started that's my new game. I'm gonna try to finish Kingdom
Kingdom
Hearts
Hearts
1, and I
1.
and I feel like if I can finish it, if I can just blast through it and
Mm.
finish it, then it'll push me to the next ones and the next ones and the next ones, because Kingdom Hearts 4 just got announced,
Yes, it did. Yes, it
and
did.
I liked how it looks, and I'm like, I
Mm.
really want to get a part of this. I want to see what the hell is Kingdom Hearts or Kingdom of Hearts, and yeah, that's what I'm currently playing right now.
Okay. Now, are you playing? Did you buy it in like a complete like edition? Like, cause there's a lot of compilations of Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts.
I have it on Xbox. I actually have it on all of them, but I've had it on X. I don't know when I bought it on Xbox. It must have been like a $15 sale, $20 sale, because that's usually when I buy something. And I have the 1.5, 2.5 collection.
Okay, good.
So
Because the thing that people were tripping out on before was because they had the game, but then they would release sequels on like other consoles, like,
yeah,
and you have to specifically get it. Like, if I'm correct, okay, Kingdom Hearts 1 was like, whoa, everyone loved it, but then they released the sequel, which was not 2 yet, but it was on the Game Boy Advance. It's like, huh?
yeah.
Whoa, why don't I play it on here?
It was
365 days over 8 or something like that.
No, that was the DS, and this is so freaking weird because I know these
Damn
games. I know these games, and it was so hard to keep track of the platforms. But it was a Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories was
Chain
that?
of
Okay, so
Memories,
the flip
and
side
I
was
know
more
this. I
later.
only know this because I made I made a wrestling move named Chain of Memories, and my brother to this day knows what it is when I'm like Chain of Memories, Chain of Memories, and
Oh
uh,
wow.
and I remember that one because I liked it. It was a card game. For some reason,
Mm.
I like card games, which is this episode is going to be about
Oh,
cards. Uh,
speaking of card games, speaking of games involving cards.
yeah. So yeah, it was Chain of Memories, and then they went everywhere. They went all. They had a PS2, DS, Game Boy Advance, 3DS with Dream Drop
Mhm.
Distance, PSP with Birth by Sleep.
Mhm.
They just had everywhere. You had to have. You basically had to have so many consoles just to
Yeah,
enjoy thoroughly and keep up with the story. With Kingdom
like
Hearts.
people. I'll give like an example too. Like people were playing Kingdom Hearts 2. They were lost on who the heck Organization 13 was. They have no clue what it is, and they're all like, "Wait, what game did they come out in? Wait, they weren't in 1. Like they weren't in that." If people played it out of order, that's how it happened.
Yeah. So that there you go. That's basically what I'm gonna be playing. Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna be posting it on Twitter, so
Was
people
barely
can see where I'm at. But yeah,
They barely announced 4, so hey, you got some time
I
to
got
get
some
through
time.
1 through all the way. You got some time to do it.
I
You
got
can do it.
I got at least 3 years. Um,
Mm-hmm. If it doesn't get delayed. You'll have 3 years.
But just like how we kind of hinted at earlier, like 2 minutes ago, this episode will be primarily based on our love for Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is very, how do you say it, near and dear to my heart growing up,
There you go.
and I know it is for Jesse as well, for probably the same reasons and different reasons.
Yes, it absolutely is. But yes, near and dear to our hearts. It's always in our heads every single day. It's
Yeah.
some way or another. It is.
Jesse, what got you into Yu-Gi-Oh? What threw you into the mix of wanting to be the number one duelist?
The ranked #1 duelist in the world. Yeah, I know. That's like the best. That's like some of the best lines out there, dude. The lines are just great from the show. This is one where I love. Where I love the dub. I love the dub too. Like all the voice actors did a phenomenal work on it too. Like in my opinion.
Real quick,
What's up?
before we start, favorite character, like top favorite character of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime.
Oh my god, of the entire anime? Damn, that's hard. That is difficult, but oh my god.
I've always
Alright,
had
just
mine, which is Joy Wheeler. Joy Wheeler.
I sort of felt it was. I sort of felt that it was.
Joy Wheeler has always been my favorite, just because I mean the Red Eyes Black Dragon card. Even though he wasn't as strong as Blue Eyes, the way it looked, Joey's almost luck pretty much on everything
Yes.
that he has.
Every single thing he did was luck based.
Some reason they gave him a Brooklyn accent. The heart of the cards, Yug. Like,
You, come on, you gotta get up. You gotta do it.
Kaiba, you freak. All the way he just sounded, it was always cool. And he had like, the thing that I liked about his deck was that it was just a like just jumbled up cards put together of just cool cards. He had Jinzo, he had Gear Fury, the Iron Knight,
Yep.
Red Eyes, Rocket Warrior,
Rocket Warrior, Guilford the Lightning.
Yeah, like all these different cards. I mean,
in here.
mostly warriors, but the Flame Swordsman, like he just had so many different cool cards, and I just that's why I liked Joey Wheeler the most. His dialogue, his like zombies. Say what?
Man. Like, oh my god. And the voice actor also did a phenomenal job with him as well, even though it's like heavily like Brooklyn style. Like the thing that gets me about Joey Wheeler is just his heart for everything. Like, as he evolves through the series, he becomes one of the most ultimate like comeback warriors in the world, and he becomes like at least the third best duelist in the whole world of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I'm jumping ahead to like the GX series where Maximilian Pegasus was he was talking about who his top 3 duelists in the world, which the first place was Yugi, of course, the king of games, like none other. And then Kaiba was second, and they always put Joey Wheeler at third. Yeah. And you know the great thing about Joey too? You saw his journey from the beginning when he was novice, like he's learning the game.
No magic cards, no trap cards, just pure monster cards.
He was learning the game, and he basically had a time wizard his way out of everything. Like that was his trump card back then.
Time wizard,
1,000 dragon. Like, dude, but I did like that 1,000 dragon though. That was cool, and even though it did like the nostril fire.
Nostril blast.
Yeah, noxious nostril blast, or something related to that. But
dude, and Red Eyes summoned Skull Dragon or Black Skull Dragon.
Black Skull Dragon. That was. Oh, actually, I also love Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon.
Yes.
We actually used the Metal Morph. That was. Joey versus Bandit Keith was also a top duel for me. I like mostly like machine duels.
Yeah.
Where Keith was using all machines, and then there was just moments where Joey was doing everything in the beginning, and then like luck happened to him, and he's all like, "I actually won that." He's all like, he doesn't even know that he won it. But this is, of course, super early on.
Yeah.
Through the Battle City arc, and then through the Dragon arc, you see like an expert Joey. Like, to actually jump into that part, Yu-Gi-Oh is just something I hold near and dear to my heart right now. I have a Hulu Live subscription service to watch TV since I moved out.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not even gonna lie. I don't use it much. Not that I don't like watching TV, but on my Amazon Prime, I always log on whenever I'm making breakfast, or if I'm hanging out around the house, or if I'm hanging out in the room. I put on Amazon Prime and I put on Yu-Gi-Oh every time, like clockwork. Like it doesn't move. Like, and I don't know. Is it obsession? Is it love? Is it? Yeah, it is. It's all those things.
It's all the above.
It's all the above. Like, it's always on, and I rewatch arcs all the time because I love the work that they did in it. Like, dude, I don't get sick of any of the arcs. I can watch everything from beginning to end. I'm in the middle of the Waking the Dragons arc again, and since you just talked about Joey Wheeler, I just finished his duel with Valen. When it was all ours.
I think that's my favorite duel.
All the armor battles that was going on, the Lord of the Red armor, Big Bang Dragon Blow, Big Bang Dragon Blow, like, oh my god, like this is like Joey,
with
like
my psychic armor head,
yeah, my Buster armor, and my burning knuckle, the Cockney accent. So now we got a Cockney accent and we got a Brooklyn accent going at each other, and like, and that's how you know his toughness, because that's where he's going. Like, this is the hardest duel I ever had to fight in my life. Like witnessing Joey's like glory, like how amazing he was. But man, you're gonna hate me because my favorite character of this whole time has been Seto Kaiba. Like, dude, you can't go wrong with Kaiba. So that means, to me, sir, you're always a second-rate duelist. You'll never beat me with luck, chump. Like, if there's someone to me that's the most quotable man ever, it's Kaiba. It's Kaiba just does everything.
I do love that Kaiba had his own entrance music.
Yes.
Out of all of them. Yeah, it was like some techno Matrix music going on in the background, and I loved it.
Every single moment that he comes in, and he always has a one-liner for everybody. Like, Mokuba, make sure anyone who's late for registration, disqualify them. Mokuba, make sure Wheeler's late. Like, he always like tries to screw him over every single time, and he always messes with him. But like, the thing that, okay, now has Kaiba done like despicable things? Yes, he's done horrible things. I'm not gonna say he's all saint, but if there's something I do appreciate from Kaiba is that, okay, yes, he is ruthless, he is cunning, but he does have an insane love for his brothers still, no matter what. Like, that's the thing that he will crush for. He will destroy like anyone in his way to do that. And he's always a man on a mission, and he's like the epitome of like hard work and like power and like going through what you got to do to get the job done. And he does everything like on his own, even though he does get help from people, but he doesn't admit it. He doesn't admit that he gets help from people, but his tenacity and his dueling tactics, which was all majority dragon types and light monster types, because that's the archetype that mostly worked for him. And then his crush card virus, like basically the thing where he destroys your deck. And
I think that card was like as synonymous as the blue eyes for him. Was the crush card combo.
The crush card virus. He would shrink whatever monster he has. He'd shrink his Ryukushin or his early season ones. He would shrink his Sagi the Dark Clown.
He didn't need to with Sagi.
No, that's right. You're right. He didn't.
Sagi was already like
energy.
Yeah, Sagi was already like, I think you had to like sacrifice a monster with like less than 1,500 attack, or something like that.
Less,
dark.
It was less than it had to be less than 1,000.
Less than 1,000.
So, yeah, it was
dark
less
type,
than 1,000.
Yeah.
It had to be less than 1,000, and then if it was like Vorse Raider or something, then yeah, he would use the shrink card. But for me, Kaiba has just, and then yes, the Blue Eyes White Dragons just a boss. And then if I had to go even another level, like just seeing the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon every single time doesn't happen super often. So when you do get to see it, it's like the monster of monsters, dude. Like, dude, you're not staring that down. Even like, I mean, I know the Egyptian god cards are great, but like just seeing the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for me was still like a better sight to see.
Do you have a favorite Egyptian god card?
Oh my god, you know what? My favorite Egyptian god card is actually one of the first one. Well, no, the first one we see is Obelisk, but my favorite is actually Slifer.
Oh,
Slifer is
same.
actually the beast card. So, dude, okay, I do like okay, we're gonna go to statistically like the stats and everything, of course, because Obelisk has a straight up 4,000 no matter what versus like Slifer, like it's depending on what's in your hand. And dude, I just like Slifer with a second mouth. And the first time that Yugi faces Bakura, that's the first time he officially summons him, is my favorite Slifer summoning of all time.
Oh,
Like
really?
that's like
Is that
yes,
when
like
he's
that's my favorite.
like curled up on the blimp?
Yes, he's
It
curled up on the blimp.
looks so cool. He's like wrapped around it. I love that like the way they have him as an image of just Slifer, and it's
Yes,
constantly moving. He's constantly, yeah. I love that.
and every time Slifer is just summoned and he roars at you for the first time, dude. He gets my bones every time. Like, dude, like imagine just seeing on the other side, like, okay, basically at that time, Yami Bakuro is done. It's like, okay, I have nothing in my hand, and like I'm dead. Like, there's nothing else I can do here.
I love
Uh,
that in the anime they were treated like they weren't really holograms. I mean, they were holograms, but because they were of the Egyptian god cards, they still had the power of themselves. So
right?
when you got hit by them, you actually did feel it. It wasn't just like a hologram.
Yeah, and then supposedly, right? Like every time everyone gets hit in this game, they get like slashed or they get like blasted or
Yeah,
something happens. That's never like it's never just like oh, it's a hit. It's like sword slash. Ah! Like it's like that. I was like, dang, are they really getting hit? Hit. I know when they're in the shadow realm, the monsters are real. So when they're in the shadow realm, the monsters are real. So I can imagine hits being hit there.
yeah.
Um, Oh, by the way, my favorite ever like Egyptian god hit is when Merrick gets socked in the face by Obelisk, like just straight up, and he gets knocked to the other side of the ring. Whoa! Like basically all the cards get off his hand. I was
Yeah,
like, dude, I was like, damn, like just imagine like Obelisk just wiped out 4,000 of your life points. It's like, damn, that's a lot. And in this game they in the anime they always modified it to for everyone starts off with like 4,000. They never do
yeah.
8,000 like in the real game.
No.
Otherwise duels will take forever. The seasons will be too much longer. Um, but as far as like favorite arc, Battle City definitely had some of the best duels out there. Um, Also, just a little bit of back knowledge too. I've watched all of Yu-Gi-Oh, the first series. Also watched GX, and I've also watched 5Ds, and that's about as far as I went. I didn't really get into Zexal or Arc 5. Didn't get much into Pendulum summoning or too much into XZ's summonings. So I kind of stopped at synchros. But I think for today we're gonna focus more on the first season of the show.
Oh,
Unless you want to talk about the other one.
well, I got for the anime. I got up to GX,
Okay,
just because I remember my brother loving Elemental Heroes, and that's his
dude.
favorite. That's his favorite like archetype and area. You know, are the Elemental Heroes and stuff like that. But for for the game itself, the card game, I got up to Pendulum. No way. No, I did pendulum summoning back in the crazy heyday of it, of how it used to be done. I know they changed that recently to make it not so chaotic. But
Mm,
there's the other one that they came out with. I don't remember the name. I
mm.
maybe you remember, but it's the one with the blue cards. Do Do you remember?
Blue cards.
Yeah,
A different.
so
Is it like a different type of summoning?
it's a different type of summoning, yeah. But
Is that ritual? Is that ritual monsters?
no, they're not ritual
No.
monsters. But they added a specific area on the deck, I guess on the play field, for these cards. I forgot what they're called, but oh, Link. I think it's the Link
Oh,
monsters.
link monsters.
Yeah,
Okay. No, I didn't get that far.
yeah. I did.
Yeah, it's a dark blue one's called Link. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I haven't played with Link rules, but I did play with Pendulum Summoning. That's as far as I got. So I did all the Fusion, Ritual, Synchro, XZs, and Pendulum, and actually they were pretty good mechanics, at least up until Pendulum. So you said you know about XZs?
I know about it, but I never played it. The last set of rules that I went through was still early on. Like I went with synchros. I know how to do synchro summonings.
So XZs is really easy, dude. It's probably the easiest summoning that you can do, or at least special summoning. Is that you have the XZ monsters on your in your extra deck, where you keep like
Okay.
fusion monsters and your synchros, and
Mm.
basically if you need at least 2 cards, but it'll tell you on the XYZ card, it'll say 2 level 4s or 2 level 4 warrior monsters and stuff like that.
Okay.
So basically, you have 2 cards on the field. If they're
Mhm.
level 4s, like
Mhm.
4-star monsters, you can
4-star monsters?
you can XZ into the level 4 rank XZ monster.
Oh,
And
okay. So
and
you just
those
need to
two
have the requirement.
yeah, and those 2 cards that were used go underneath the XZ monster, and then those effect, you'll read the effect. It'll say detach 1 material from this card and activate the ability, or detach 2, XYZ material monster cards, from here to activate this ability.
So the
That's
monsters are not sacrificed then. They just actually stay there.
They actually stay there as material. And
Oh, okay.
there's certain cards, and sometimes there's other cards or abilities that you're able to keep adding onto it so that you can keep using the ability. So they don't really they don't get sacrificed. They don't go immediately into the graveyard. They just go underneath the XZ monster, which is very
Okay.
easy. So when you start flooding the field with monster cards, and then you can just exit, and just like it's a special summoning, you can do as
Mhm.
many as you can do.
Oh, they're all special summons, so over and over
Yeah.
and over again, baby.
So I really liked when that's when I was getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh after so long, and I thought it was gonna be a weird mechanic, but I really liked it. I really liked that mechanic because I was running zombies at the time, and with zombie cards, they flood the field with just cards, and so easy XYZ summoning.
Hey, okay, all right. So,
And of course, Red
yeah,
Eyes has one. Red Eyes
of
has
course, Red Eyes has an XZ's version as well.
yeah, it's the Red Eyes. I think Black Flare Dragon.
Okay.
Let me see. I have my Red Eyes deck here, of course. Yeah, Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Which
Ooh.
basically you need 2 level 7 monsters. Those 7 monsters, of course, Red Eyes Black Dragon is a 7-star monster. So
Yes. So
you're
2 of those will cover you.
and you're thinking, damn, how do I get 2 Red Eyes on the
Mhm.
field at the same time, because they cost 2 monsters? But with the cards these days, I mean, you're able to special summon a Red Eyes from your deck. There's Call of the Haunted, one of my favorite trap cards.
There you go.
Stuff like that.
Oh, mine was Mirror Force.
Of course.
Yeah, dude, Mirror Force. Yeah, you cannot go wrong with Mirror Force ever.
Kill everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, dude, that's the reflect. That's the reflective power of Mirror Force. And you know what's so interesting? Because I'll come into I was definitely more into the anime versus the actual card game. I would watch a lot of friends play the card game. Me and card games have like a love-hate relationship. I love the card games. Not a big fan of building the decks for the card games because I know you have to build a deck with synergy and everything. And
I love building the deck.
buying a lot. So there you go. So see, build me a deck, man. Build me a Blue Eyes XZ's deck.
Hey.
Is there such thing?
Yeah, I mean, I could build
There
you
you go.
a pretty good deck and give you a card list and you can check it out. But
There
I
you go.
in my heyday, like maybe I want to say like 5 years ago,
Mhm.
I had up to maybe I want to say like 12 decks. I felt like that
Well,
dude in Yu-Gi-Oh GX that just had a deck for everything. What was his name?
did you feel? Oh, Bastion.
Bastion. He had a
Yeah,
deck for
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
and that's how I felt. I had a Red Eyes, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes. I had the Egyptian. I had an Egyptian God card deck. I think I still have it.
Did you
Uh,
use Slifer too?
huh?
Did you use Slifer? Did you use all three of the God cards when you did a God deck?
So my friend and I, we would play. I was able to summon all three at the same time.
Dude, that's a lot of summoning. How did you do that?
I forgot how, but I created this way of basically I had a stall cards, basically
Okay.
a defensive card, and when you would attack, each turn I think each of my standby phase I would gain 1,000 life points,
Oh wow. Okay.
but the card cannot be destroyed by battle.
Oh,
So you have to destroy it with like Dark Hole or
artifacts.
Regeki, card
Yeah,
effects, but
you had to do card effect.
it cannot be destroyed by battle. So of course,
Mm.
and it had a 2,000 defense with zero attack. I was never gonna attack with it. So while
Yeah.
I was stalling, I'm drawing. I had other cards like Graceful Charity, draw
Okay.
cards and throw them out in the graveyard, and then
Yep.
I had Call of the Haunted, and then I also had this card. I don't know if you know it, called Ra's Disciple.
You know what? I actually remember it from the episode of GX. There was
Okay.
an episode of GX with a Ra's disciple, the guy who was the Franz character who was using the fake Ra. Or no,
Yes.
he was using like a version of the Winged
A
Dragon of
version
Ra.
of it.
But
Yeah.
he's using like a version of it because supposedly in the GX world, the God cards were destroyed after Yugi
Yeah.
after the Pharaoh left. Spoiler alert! If you haven't seen it, after the Pharaoh leaves, he destroys
But
the cards.
basically, I had like these cards that would be able to help me out with getting these monsters out, And so, Ra's Disciple, you summon him, you get to special summon two Ra's Disciples from your hand or deck. They get added, and then you can special summon or you can sacrifice them to special summon Egyptian Ra, or
There we go.
Ra, the Winged
Wing,
Dragon of Ra, or whatever.
Winged Dragon of Ra, baby.
And I had other cards. I had a field card that protected my at level 12 divine monsters. I had this card that I was able to peek at the top 5 cards of my deck
Okay.
and rearrange them in however I want. But I also had a
Cool.
card called I think it was called By Thy Name, and it
Okay.
was basically if you called the card on the top of the deck correctly, special summon the card, and I would say Obelisk the Tormentor, and of course
Oh yeah,
because I
because
already
you just
did it, yeah.
reordered that card.
So it
Okay.
was like just back to back, and then
Nice.
basically I had like a 3,000 attack Slifer. I had Obelisk, and then I had Winged Dragon of Ra, which his special ability was
Nice.
sacrifice the however amount life points you want and add it to its attack points.
Yup. The
Base,
Raw's point-to-point transfer, America would call it.
yeah, but because I had that card that would keep giving me 1,000 life points per turn, I had like I think up to I want to say like 15,000 life points. Drained it all to like 1,000, and I had like a 14,000 attack Raw.
Yeah.
And I was like, I cannot believe I summoned all three, and
All three.
I did like a Kaiba Merrick laugh after that, and
I'm just gonna call you Pharaoh from now on because you basically did the Pharaoh's work by having all three God cards at once.
yeah. So I mean, I think I may have that deck. I gotta look around. The one I always keep around is Red
Red
Eyes.
Eyes.
Red Eyes is
Yeah.
always in my Charizard box.
That's a Pokemon. I was about to say, sir,
Yeah.
that's a Pokemon box. Yeah, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh cards in there.
But I mean,
Nice.
it fit nicely. It's a dragon.
True.
But yeah, I actually love building the decks. I actually said this on Twitter, but I used to do YouTube videos on deck builds, and hey,
Yeah.
I used to
Wow.
like to do $40 deck builds. Like, hey, you want to get
Okay.
into Yu-Gi-Oh? You want to get into like a good deck for $40. this is
I
what you
got you.
get. Here's the the graveyards or what was it, the gravekeepers
Mm-hmm.
deck. Here's the red eyes deck. Here's this, and
Mm-hmm.
I just love the cards. I think I love the cards more than the anime, to be honest. The anime got the anime
Damn.
got me into the cards, but the cards I just love building them and
I'm
seeing how
actually
they work.
I'm actually the opposite. I'm more into the anime than the cards. Like but the anime showed me how to play the card game. The anime showed me how. I mean, obviously, some techniques and some things are anime only. Like that only happens in the anime.
Yeah, like
But
the first season
yeah,
where you don't have to
yeah.
sacrifice for Dark Magician or
Ooh, hey, but you know what? Kaiba changed the rules where now certain
yeah.
monsters. Kaiba introduced tributing, which then, like afterwards, I remember, I remember younger when I first got to Yukio. I tried playing a high level card straight out because I was just borrowing a deck just to use it. And
Yeah.
this is coming from someone who just watched the anime, so I would just put the high power monster on there and be like, "What are you doing?" Like, here, like, see, like, and it's like, Jesse, that's not how it works. Oh, like that was basically like my slam into learning Yu-Gi-Oh like the hard way, but no, actually afterwards, season 2 is where they actually introduced sacrificing. Finally, you have to tribute monsters, but then they had that dumb rule where fusion monsters have to wait a turn to attack. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean they have to? Unless you had the quick attack magic card, which means you can attack right away. No. Why would you have just a card just so you could have a fusion monster attack like right away? I don't know. It's weird.
They did some weird stuff, but they still broke some of the rules. Like, I think
Every time.
I think Yugi did a Monster Reborn when it wasn't his turn. I'm like, bro, it's not. You gotta wait your turn.
Or there was these other card effects where they're going like, oh well, since you used that card, it also affects my side of the field as well. I was like, what? Like, no, it doesn't. Like ectoplasma does like the Arcana duel.
Yeah.
Oh, the ectoplasma defends me from the last attack needed because they are of the same name. You can drain both. I was like, what? And I was like, in my head, I'm like, okay. But again, I'm watching the anime mostly. I played the card. I learned how to play the game, but I still watched it from the anime mostly. The anime showed me how to play a card game, like just from watching it over and over and over again. And that just shows my love for it still. Again, going to watch through every single arc again. All right, so I will add GX to it because Elemental Heroes, Jaden Yuki is definitely a hero that I like. He's one of the protagonists that I find one of the best protagonists in the Yu-Gi-Ohs. I do love Yugi, I do love the Pharaoh, but I just like Kaiba more. But I do love the Pharaoh still for his own way. Love all the side characters too. Who's your favorite villain?
Merrick.
Oh, Merrick Ishtiyami. Merrick
Yeah.
is the beast.
Merrick. I just loved that. I don't know. Like, he was just over the top. I mean, Bakura is almost there, but because I always see him with like the actual human Bakura,
Yeah.
it's always it throws me off. But I always felt like Merrick didn't have that long of an arc, even though he was all of the entire Battle City tournament. Merrick just had like a way of him, I guess. I think because I always liked the Egyptian side. When they would go back into Egypt, or like his clothes, his aesthetic. I really liked his side, and he had the
Super
wing.
spiky hair Merrick was tight. Dude,
Yeah.
Yami Merrick was boss.
Yeah. Just like, I guess he didn't care when he would duel. Like, he was just that crazy, and then like super crazy when he was fighting Yugi, and all veiny and
Dude,
in his face.
He was going insane in that duel. He's all like, "Yes, shuffle well, Pharaoh." Like he's salivating.
It's like echoing too. It's like, shuffle well. Like, whoa.
Shuffle well, Pharaoh. Like, and pray for your soul that rides up on the bottom.
Yeah, it was just over the top Shakespeare character, and
So good though.
my dude Joey had him beat. He had him beat, and I was so mad. And
That
uh,
that episode still makes me mini cry every time that I see it, dude. Every time because he's so close.
yeah,
He's like right here. Just say
he had
that.
the Iron Knight already. He summoned
No.
him, but he just didn't attack.
Like, and Merrick was pissing his pants. Like, he was just about to lose the duel. He's all like he's so pissed off. He has like his mouth closed when he's talking. He's all like, if he's successful in attacking my life points, I'll lose the duel and my Egyptian god card.
Yeah.
And he's just about to do it. And then, okay, one major difference between the sub and the dub is what actually happens at the end of the duel when they're going down and like Merrick's like sweating and everything. What you actually don't see in the dub is Merrick is actually like physically like vomiting in his mouth. Like he was that scared that he lost. Like there's a little moment where he's holding in vomit in his mouth. He's like,
oh wow, I didn't know
like
that.
Like he was that scared that he was just about to lose to Joey right then and there.
That should have told him, like, dude, if Joey can beat you, like, what makes you think that you're gonna beat Kaiba or Yugi?
Yeah, dude, like it was so close to losing. Like, and if it was not a shadow game, he would have lost immediately. That's the only reason why that happened. And unfortunately, there are some things where you kind of go, as a kid, when this first came out, we were all excited. Everything happens. And then when you get older and then you see it again and you're all like, it has to be written this way. Because come on, they're not going to have a Joey versus... That's too good of a show. They're not going to have a Joey versus Yugi Battle City Finals. Like, it's written this way. Yeah. Gosh darn it. Like, there's no way it's going to happen. It's like, there's no feasible way that Yugi is going to lose to Kaiba. Oh, that sucks, though. Actually, I'll add another monster in there that I thought looks amazing. Dark Paladin.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That card looks so sweet. that card looks amazing.
One card that I always loved was the Buster Blader.
Right, dude. Plus 500 for every dragon on the field.
Yeah, and that huge sword that he has, and he's always like, roar, like
he sounds like a machine.
Yeah.
And I also was a big fan of Summon Skull back in the day.
Yeah. He had like a weird like I don't know why he sounded like a damn like a cat or something. He sounded like I always heard a cat.
And then oh my gosh, Summon Skull is good. Dark Magician. I like him. He's alright.
Summon Skull was one of the most OP and still OP cards. You only need one sacrifice, and he has the same attack. He has the same attack as Dark Magician.
Why in the world would you play Dark Magician when he also has 2,500? When you need two monsters to sacrifice him, but in Summon Skull just need one, just one.
It was crazy.
Oh, but Jinzo is also a boss card too. No trap cards. You cannot use trap cards in Jinzo's present.
Yeah, I really like that Jinzo card, but I do run Summon Skull in my Red Eyes because I do have a Black Skull Dragon.
There you go.
In my deck.
3,200 attack, baby. My favorite actual villain, just to jump in, I actually really liked Maximilian Pegasus as a villain too.
Oh, really?
Because he's maniacal, but in different reasons, and he's not just imposing or anything. He's more like
very what's the word? Witty,
charismatic villain. Yeah, he's very
whimsical in a way.
Yeah, he's like a very character. He leads you into his traps and his deeds, and he makes you feel like a fool when he looks kind of foolish when he's doing it, but he makes you look even dumber when you're doing it.
I like that he would mock them like, oh no, like when he would get hit, what will I do?
What will I do? Oh no! Oh, the Blue Eyes Toon Dragon. And
And
then,
how Kaiba gets so mad, like, what did you do to my monster?
Monster. What did you stripped him of his pride? What are you talking about? I made him in his most powerful form ever. And I also made him more cuddlier.
All yours like,
and the
I
Toon
do love the Toon monsters though.
Yeah, but the two monsters were OP for a
Yeah,
while. They were OP for a long time.
what was it like? They couldn't be destroyed by battle or something like that. As long as Toon World was on the field.
Yeah, as long as Toon World was on the field, the main card itself states that in the anime, if Toon World was on the field, you couldn't destroy Toons. You have to get rid of the Toon World card.
Correct. There you go.
So you have to get rid of the Toon World. So basically, they were in the book. They were basically in the book before they attacked or something. So they were always like protected. And the real Toon World card lets you play Toon monsters, and Toon monsters can only get destroyed by other Toons. And if you don't control another Toon monster, you can attack your opponent's life points directly. So that's what made them OP at the time. If people were running Toon decks, you can attack your opponent's life points directly, unless it was another Toon monster. And that ability was so powerful. I remember back then, to use Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, you actually had to pay 500 life points to attack your opponent.
Yeah, and I think they couldn't attack the same turn that they were special summoned.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one, but I remember.
At least the new cards. At least the.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm just looking at them real quick. Like Toon Dark Magician, it says cannot attack the turn it is summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent directly.
Yep. So you needed to have a Toon to get. You needed to have a Toon to even defend yourself, and Toon monsters can't get destroyed by regular monsters. It has to be by other Toon monsters.
I just remember when I would build decks, I never built a Toon deck, even though I kind of wanted to. But my friend was already doing a Toon deck, so I didn't want to do decks that someone else had. But
right.
I just remember the cards were always pricey.
The Toon deck cards were pricey?
Yeah, like I know you know of Toon World, but there was a card called Toon Kingdom, which at a time I believe went upwards as like $120. And
$120 for one card.
And I was not about to drop, a Benjamin for that, but the Toon Kingdom basically is when this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down.
Mm-hmm.
This card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target Toon monsters you control with card effects. And if a Toon monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. So you can
defend your monsters.
Exactly. That's why it was so expensive, because that card is so good. But
you can run 3 copies of this. So if you want 3 of these, that's 120 bills each one.
Yeah. So I said, I was not about to build a $500 deck for Toon cards when I like to make budget decks. Dark Magician's like $1. I'll make a Dark Magician deck.
There you go.
Which I don't know how long ago it was since you played, but they've added so many cards, man, that I think you can easily make any deck that you want for super cheap. I made a Dark Magician Girl deck because they added Magician Girls to the cards.
Now let's say like if someone was getting into it like now or something, but let's say you wanted to make more of like an old school type deck with like fusions and stuff, and you didn't want to dabble with too much like pendulum summoning or other things, would you still be like viable? Like, would you be able to play quite a bit and maybe win some? Or do you have to just go with like the current meta and you have to build something like more of today to even stand a chance against anyone?
I think you would still need to stand a chance. I mean, every deck can be good. But it's all about speed. It's all about how fast you can get the best cards on the field as possible.
Yeah.
It's not like before where it's like, hey, your turn. Okay, let me summon a card. Okay, my
Yeah.
turn. I'm gonna summon a card. Okay, next turn. Oh, I'm gonna fight your card.
No.
No, it's like, oh, let me.
Synchro summons by themselves already can bring something up quick.
Yeah, these cards now, it's kind of like, oh, let me summon this card. This card, when it's summoned, it lets me special summon this card. Oh, when this card is special summoned, I get to activate a card from my deck, and you activate that card. Oh, it gets to special summon one card from your deck to the field. Now I have three cards. Okay, let me synchro summon into this powerful card, which allows me to special summon when it goes to the graveyard this card, and it just continues.
Oh
And
my god, I already lost it from when you just
yeah,
said all that, dude. Oh my
and
god.
that's essentially the game today,
Wow.
which kind of sucks. Um, but
Uh-huh.
rest assured, there's something called, and it's been a while since I've had this, but it's called the GOAT formula or the GOAT deck, or basically a GOAT deck.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Basically, it's a rule set. I think set at a certain time in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can only use specific cards, and it's
Oh.
super balanced. It's very balanced in terms of making the deck.
Okay.
So if you're ever thinking of, but this only works if two players have a GOAT deck.
Okay.
So if two of you, if, let's say you and I started researching the GOAT deck playlist, and the cards list that are available, we can get a GOAT deck pretty much game going, and that's a lot better or a lot more fair than having to deal with synchros, XZs, pendulums, link monsters, and all that
Mm-hmm.
craziness. Um, so for new players, if you're kind of scared or worried about getting into Yu-Gi-Oh, there is the GOAT formula, the GOAT card playlist. I don't even know how you would say it, but I had one before, and it was actually pretty fun.
Okay. And can you use these goat lists and everything for the video games themselves? Because I know we haven't mentioned it yet, but there's a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh video. There's the Yu-Gi-Oh video games that we dabble in. So can a lot of these strategies work for the video game versions as well?
They
Since
can,
it's the
but
same like a
but
card
it
game.
they can, but it depends on which video game you're playing. But also keep in mind that the video games don't adhere to the other player. So if you make a
Mm.
GOAT deck in, let's say, the new game, what's it called? Yu-Gi-Oh!
Uh,
The one
my
that's out on
goodness,
PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, like
it just
next
came out to.
Master Level or Master
I think it was.
Duel.
I think it was the. I think it was the Yu-Gi-Oh Master Duels.
Yeah, something like
That's the
that.
new. That's the newest one that came out.
Yeah, you can create one of those,
Master
but
Duel, yeah.
you're gonna
Mm.
be playing against other players that have pendulums and XZs and stuff like that. But the game
And do.
does have a good tutorial, a good story mode where it teaches you each of those, I guess, sections of the cards.
And Duel Links is also one of the most popular Yu-Gi-Oh games out there.
Yeah,
Like
because
people
it's
have
it's
talked about
it's
Duel Links.
yeah, because it's on mobile, so you can play it on the go. The only thing with Duel Links is that the cards are, it's limited in terms of instead of five monsters, you only have three spaces for three monsters, and
Really?
same with spells and traps. Instead of five, it's three. So
Wow.
it's a little bit more difficult in terms of trying to get a full, like an actual game going, because
Hmm.
they change. You only have space for three cards. You kind of have to
Wow.
change your deck a little bit. You know.
Okay. That's weird. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So wow. So instead of five monsters, three monsters. Well, at least it's not like Seal or Calcos where you can have 10 monsters on the field at once.
Yeah. But yeah. Love the games. I love the card games and the anime. Uh, but for me, it's always been the cards themselves. Building them, looking at the cards, the art styles of each card. Um, Favorite
Nice.
card still is Red Eyes Black Dragon. Um,
Yep,
of
yep, yep.
course.
There
Even
you go.
the deck that I'm running, I have the classic Red Eyes card. I don't have like any of the new ones. It's just can
The
see it.
OG. Ah, there you go. That's a classic right there.
That classic
That's a
art.
beauty. That's a beauty. Blue Eyes White Dragon is up there with one of my favorite. I never. Well, actually, I did have a card at one time because I think I got it from like a promotion. I had one, but I never had that original art one, like the one with like the bigger looking drawing. I had more of like the newer looking drawing.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not as good. You want the old school one. Just like something that's really hard to find is the old school polymerization card. Oh, there it is. You do have a Lord of the Red. I just told you, I finished watching that arc, and Lord of the Red was beastly on there. Except Valen somehow was able to punch it out of him still. He still punched it out of him. And my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game right now that I dabble in every once in a while, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution.
Okay.
Because that one. That one's a great one to have because the story mode on that one is fantastic. I haven't gotten too far past GX yet, but it lets you go from all the way through GX through. There's several others. It definitely goes all the way to Arc 5, definitely. But you can play from every style. So eventually, I'll learn Pendulum Summoning from that one, from that one too. I already learned XZ, so I'm definitely going to get some Zexal action in there. But Legacy of the Duelist was awesome because it has the awesome story mode where you can use the story-based deck. Obviously, they modified it to include the magic and trap cards needed to complete this deck. And then the great thing, too, is that as you're playing this game, you can actually play the flip of the duel. So let's say if it was something like Yugi versus Kaiba, now you can do the flip side and have it be you as Kaiba versus Yugi. And then you beat him there. And I'll tell you, the thing that I hate the most about this game, like the one duel that I always dread, is going against the rare hunter with the Exodia deck. Because I'm begging to goodness sake, because he's graceful charitying his way through. I was like, oh, here it comes. He's going to have all 5. And all he needs to do is have all 5 in his hand and he wins. So I'm like, here he goes. It's like, he's discarding. My heart's pounding every time he's drawing cards and he always has a way to draw cards. I'm like, oh my God, no.
I remember that one. Graceful Charity. He had all these cards to just keep adding to his hand.
And I'm thinking, like, here it is, right here. Here it comes. This is it. Zodiac's coming. I sense it already. I already know. And the same against Yugi in the very first duel because you're fighting against Yugi who had an Exodia at the time. So, but the rare hunter is just the worst because he has 3
I've
of each card.
I've never lost against him.
You never. Really? What, did you one turn him? You never. Okay, you played him multiple times. You've never lost against him in.
I have the game like I think 2 times. I had it on the Switch and on PlayStation. I never lost against him. He was like the easiest one.
Well, of course, because he most likely plays just defensive monsters. You just got lucky opening hands each time, okay? you got luck.
Red eyes.
Well, and sometimes. And then after that, I actually ended up switching from Yugi's deck. I'm like, this is lame. I decided to use the. I was like, never mind. So I used there's a pretty sweet fusion deck in this game, like one of the preset decks that has like a couple of fusion monsters that doesn't need much material. It was like just a pyro and a machine monster, and you get like a bunch of burn damage on it. I was like, dang, like why the heck? So if I can't beat it with the story deck, I can just switch over to that fusion deck in particular just to win. It's like, okay, I can't do it with the story deck. let's use this one. But that's a game I recommend to everyone, whether you want it now or on sale or anything. It's a great card game if you want it just like single player or multiplayer. Of course, Master Duel if you love building decks and doing everything. But if you just want like a single player experience with Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution is awesome. But yeah, I think I'm always gonna watch Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm always gonna look up to all the voice actors who do everything with Yu-Gi-Oh, like Dan Green, Eric Stewart, everyone just does a phenomenal job on that show, and they're also like memorable. They're all very memorable for that. And then Eric Stewart, you remember him because he also does the voice of like Brock. He does
Yeah.
the story of Brock from Pokemon. So he does that one. And then I'm sorry, I do not remember the voice actor's name, but the voice actor who does Tristan actually then gets his chance to be the protagonist because then he becomes Yusei Fudo for 5Ds.
Oh, really? That's him too?
That's him too. So Tristan turns into Yusei.
Okay. I just know him because of Stardust Dragon.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or at least that is that his card? Is that you?
It is. That is.
Okay.
That is. That's Yusei's card. Stardust Dragons. Level 7 synchro. And then yeah, every protagonist main monster has 2,500 attack, and every anti-hero or rival always has a 3,000 attack card. Except Chaz. Chaz was just nah. I did not like Chaz. That was not.
Don't you mean the Chaz?
The
Chaz it up. Chaz it up.
No, not goodness. He started off as the rival, but no, he's no Kaiba. He doesn't. He doesn't do it any justice. And I did like his Armed Dragon deck. Armed Dragon was cool.
Yeah.
I did like the different levels of the Armed Dragon, but the Kaiba, and I did like Jack, but Jack Atlas, but yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone who's listening to this has probably most likely watched Yu-Gi-Oh! If they're hearing this podcast. But if you haven't watched Yu-Gi-Oh!, then I would say just give it a shot if you love it. It's a lot of good, amazing, cheesy fun. It's great. It's over the top. You won't go wrong. I'll tell you that.
And with that is our final segment of the show. It is our boss pick of the week. This week we got Jesse's pick. What do you got, Jesse?
All right. Well, I'm actually just going to go a little bit of a difference of a sense here. It's not normally a video game boss or anything like that. I wanted to keep it in theme. And I mean, this guy is a boss. He owns his own company. He owns everything he does. So I already mentioned him by name before as my favorite character, like Seto Kaiba. Like he leads everything. He leads a lot of things that goes on during the story arc. I mean, they're always trying to take his company, and they're always trying to take his company. He sets up the Battle City tournament to get the God cards. He always does what he wants. He works 10 times as hard to get anything he wants. He's ruthless. He'll go through any means necessary to get a lot of the times what he wants. But again, he does have a bit of a heart because he does end up still helping the protagonist at times, even though he calls them dweebs and losers and all that stuff. But he does do a little bit of help, and he always repays a favor. He always repays someone who owes him something. He always does. He's a man of his word in that way. And just away from the way he ran his company to his tenacity when he duels, and he does become Yugi or the Pharaoh's greatest rival throughout the entire series. And they always push each other to the absolute limit. And Kaiba's cards are always about power. So it's always the easiest way to summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon or however it is. Well, back then you could just summon Blue Eyes for free because you could just throw your card in there early duel. But basically, if you had it in your hand, you could just use it. But later on, he just figures out ways to either ritual summon it, or he would get it from he would ritual summon a certain monster to get the Blue Eyes out. But Kaiba, from the voice acting to his mannerisms to his quotes to everything about him, just something oozes power from him, and his devil may care attitude about everything is just great. He's just an interesting character to watch the entire time, and his growth is just different throughout. So that is going to be my boss for the week, because I wanted to keep it in Yu-Gi-Oh centric world. So that's my boss of bosses for the week, because Kaiba is a boss.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Kaiba being a boss or the boss in Yu-Gi-Oh, because that's basically, he was usually like not maybe the boss, but always a boss that Yugi had to go through.
Yep.
you know, whether it was Duelist Kingdom, the Battle
Battle
City,
City.
he had to go through him as well.
And then they actually, and then after Battle City, then more of the team up started happening after that.
Yeah, that's when you started, and even during, because you saw them team up for the. I don't know if it was the first time. Yeah, it was the first time when they fought against Loomis and Umbra, up on top of the skyscraper where whoever loses the glass would break.
Yeah, that's the first. That's the first tag duel that they had to do.
Yeah, because then they did it again in the cyber world.
Yeah, well, they did it. They did it in the. No, I think they just switched places in the cyber world. In the cyber world, I don't think they did a tag duel together.
Really? Well, because how did they fight the big five?
The first time they visited the cyber world before Battle City.
Okay.
Like when Kaiba was that's like the arc that like is usually not like repeated as often or as much.
Yeah.
But there is that big 5 arc where Kaiba is first trapped in the digital world and Mokuba is telling them to go get him.
Yeah,
and that's when dressed up as a.
That's when we get Blackluster Dragon Soldier or something like
that. Dragon Master Knight.
There you go, and that was such a cool card, man. I think it was like 5,000 attack or 4,500 attack, and I just loved
it. Was 5,000.
Yeah, I just loved that monster card, and they even changed the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon just slightly, because they have Blackluster on top of their head. But
so they had to team up there. I think they were all going against them because Joey had his red eyes, and then Mai had her Harpy's pet dragon. It was just basically all dragon types that were there because only dragons can attack. Only dragons can attack in that duel or can harm him. And then the Loomis. Well, the first time they officially teamed up was the Kaiba one-turn defeat Loomis and Umbra when they were first on the floor. Yeah. The Kaiba quick move beat him, and then the second time was the real duel on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Where they fought for, and then Kaiba is like, sometimes the worst teammate to have ever. If you mess this up, I'm gonna tell you this is all your fault. He's that guy. This is all your fault. I'm telling you. You're the reason we lost this. Like, it's not because of me, it's because of you. And then even when they're fighting darts at the end of the Dragon arc, like even though there's like a big moment where Kaiba like loses and everything, and he transfers the final of his life, the monster's attack points to his life points. Even his words to him there were just great. It was all like, I've worked too hard to get us this far. Don't mess this up. Like he's telling him not to mess it up. He's telling him like, I got us here too far. Like it was him that got him there. Yes, we get it, Kaiba. We get it. You got us there. But that's just something that always just leads you back to him. Like it just gets you back into his style. So Seto Kaiba again. I'm gonna say that again. That's the boss world right there.
Yeah, that was a good pick. This was a long time coming, dude. This episode, we always hinted at Yu-Gi-Oh and talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, and I know we can keep on going. Because we didn't even talk about the movies that came out, and when we would finally see like the protagonists, all 3 of them together.
Yep. Oh, you say Jaden and see, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and there's also Pyramid of Light and all that stuff.
I love the property. I love the IP, the franchise. I love the card game, video game, anime, movies, even the movies. I think the last one was the Dark Side Dimensions, which I think had the best.
Brought back the OG voice actors. And
just
did it again.
Had the best version of Blue Eyes and Dark Magician. They just look so cool, man. I'll probably look it up and buy the Blu-ray. I know it wasn't that great, but it's just so much fan service that I really loved. So. I love this episode. I love talking to you about Yu-Gi-Oh! Finally, a whole episode about it, and
it's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a lot of Yu-Gi.
If you guys are listening and got this far, let us know your favorite protagonist, your favorite card. If you still play, if you want to play, Just anything about Yu-Gi-Oh, we're always down to talk
Well,
online.
I'll hear it out every moment. Tweet it or do whatever you want. It's
But
always good.
yeah, well, playing Order 1886, and I told you how it's about the King Arthur and his knights, made me want to build a Noble Knight deck for Yu-Gi-Oh, which I already built it,
Mhm.
and I'm just waiting for the cards to come in. But I'll probably show that off. Maybe make a video on the side and show you guys basically my thought process on making a deck and pricing, and maybe people will start building decks and we'll play with some of the fans online on Master Duel or something. I gotta get back on that.
Handle it, man. I think you'll beat them more than I can. I'll be on your corner on that. I'll help you on that.
But man, I was happy to be back. It was a while. So this week, you guys will see 2 episodes. This will probably be the second episode, depending on how you guys want to, listen to them in a row. But Jesse, awesome time as always.
A pleasure, man. Every single moment, a pleasure. And looks like neither of us are going to the Shadow Realm. Looks like we're okay.
Yeah, we're good.
We're fine.
But thank you again, you guys, for getting this far. Jesse, always a pleasure talking to you about Yu-Gi, wrestling, gaming, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace out, everybody. Have a great one. And it's time to... Oh.
Yee. Later, you guys.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Bosskey Podcast with your hosts, McQuack306 and
Debbie G. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Bosskey_podcast so you never miss an episode.
And if you like, you can also follow us personally at McQuack306 and Jesse_Fregoso.
Join us next time for another episode of the Bosskey Podcast.
Ha 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 ha!